So here we are. So I've got a bit of feedback in from Michaela from Brighton. She says, how does a can of worms work? And we've got Jeff who says, please can you tell me how to set up a can of worms? Not only can we tell him, Jeff, we're going to show you. What do you think?
I think this would be a great idea. Why not? Why not film the whole process?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're going to go outside today into the garden and set up a can of worms. Well, you are.
Excellent. I look forward to it. See you out there.
Don't have to worry about. I always think the best thing to do is to put it somewhere handy so you can be bothered to use it.
Completely. I think that's one of the best things to do, is save you walking miles down the garden to put your kitchen waste in. So there it is, the can of worms.
Do you know what? Yeah. Once I had a customer who said it didn't work.
Really?
And she'd forgotten to actually open the bag of worms. Yeah. So Jeff, it won't work yet.
No, it won't work yet. So the next plan is, the next stage is you flip your handy little scissors out of your pocket. Prepared earlier.
Wow.
And you snip the ribbon. So
I declare this can of worms open.
Open, yeah, and we've got a snazzy new top, haven't we?
Right. Chuck that away.
Kind of. Sorry. So that can double up as a frisbee. Okay.
Well, Rich, Jeff is going to need to know what's in here. So
indeed.
Come on, boy.
Okay, let's have a look. Right then, first tray. First thing he'll come across is a bedding block, some legs, and a tap. We can get into those in a second.
What's the bedding block for then?
The bedding block is something that we soak in a bucket of water, which sort of expands and turns into something very much looks like peat or well-rotted compost, and that is the bedding for the worms when we first start the composter up. And then in here we've got some worm treat. So that's fantastic stuff. That's a combination of pelleted cereals, which is good for supplementing the worm's diet to begin with when you first set the wormery up.
Okay.
And in the
a different bit. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
this?
There's also
Jeff will need to know about
Jeff will need to know. Well, he's going to know what this
is. Different one, Jeff.
Different shape. That's the sump. So that's the tray that sits on the bottom. It's very clever. It's a great design because wormeries are really neat in many respects, but one of which is that you can collect all the liquid plant food from the sump.
Right.
The tap will fit that on that tray in a bit as well.
Okay.
Okay. So there's that. Can I give you that there?
Yeah.
This is a moisture mat. Very important. Moisture mats are important on conventional composters, but they're very, very important on wormeries as well. So this is something made of hemp. This sits on the top of the worms. So wherever the majority of the worms are, that will sit in the top, and eventually it will sit on the top of the top tray, or where you're adding your new waste. In here we have a bag of wormies, 500 grams of worms.
Come on then, let's get them out.
You say that to all the boys.
Jeff's not going to wait.
Do you? How many worms in there? 500 grams, approximately.
1,000.
1,000? Got to be at least,
really,
isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of wormies.
Come on,
anyway.
he's not going to wait. Nobody who gets this kit
okay,
is going to wait
where are
for
my
the
handy
worms.
scissors?
Yeah.
Do you want to do the honours?
Would you wait?
For you to see the worms?
Yeah.
At this time, having been here for so long, yes.
Nobody's going to wait.
Generally, no. You've got to see what the worms look like. They're the key ingredient to your can of worms.
Jeff will have done this first off.
And actually, this really isn't a two-man job. We're only doing it for effect.
Yeah.
So in here, we've got a whole world of worms.
Oh.
Lots and lots of juicy composting worms.
And look at different sizes. That's fantastic, isn't it?
There's a nice mix in there, actually.
Yeah.
They're very healthy, very moist, quite lively, nice temperature.
Bit of worm biology, Rich?
Bit of worm biology, yeah.
Why not?
What do you want to know? How many hearts do worms have, Hev?
Ooh, squillions.
That's a great answer. Squillions. They have 5 hearts. Would you believe?
Really?
Yeah. And do you know why they have 5 hearts?
Because they're full of love.
Because they are full of. They probably are quite loving creatures, really.
Not that.
But the reason being is because they respire through their skins.
Right.
And that's another reason why it's very, very important for their skins to be moist in order to breathe through. But because the oxygen has to diffuse through their skins, they need those hearts to be able to pump the blood, to whisk the blood around the body, around the surface of the skin, to whisk away the oxygen so they can breathe effectively. What about brains? Do worms have brains?
I don't think they've got many.
Strange enough, they have a little a little organ which is a cerebral ganglion, so it's very small. It's not like a brain, a well-developed brain like ours, but it's
Mine.
but it absolutely it's not. It's
Like
definitely not a well-developed organ like yours.
No.
But it's something they are able to process thought. You know, they're able to work out how to drag something like a wisteria frond down into a hole, rather than grab it in the middle and pull it down through the hole. So they can work things out. So yeah, very neat. What's this thing called here? Do you know what this is?
I do. Saddleback.
Saddleback. It
Isn't
is.
it?
It is a saddle. Yeah, it's a saddle. I think the proper name is clitellum. That's.
Well, I didn't want to get
where,
rude.
No, but I likewise, I don't want to get too scientific. But that's where they'll fuse together when they mate.
Yep.
And worms can mate for several hours.
Can they?
Yeah, is that something you've experienced?
No. Onward. Thank you, Jeff, for bringing that up.
And finally, in our little can of worms, is some anti-acid lime mix, which again is a combination of pelleted cereal, but I think predominantly barley in here, and it has crushed up limestone. And you grab a handful and put a handful on every couple of weeks, and that serves to reduce the acidity in the kit. Because I think worms, I mean, whilst they can tolerate quite acidic conditions, you know, sort of pH of 3 or 4, low as 3 possibly, they would prefer a nice neutral pH, 6.57, something like that. And really, when you're setting up a wormery, when you're creating something to deal with your household waste, your kitchen waste, and you want to try and make the conditions in the wormery as conducive to worm health as possible. So things like pH and climatic conditions are quite important.
You know, sometimes I think that you overcomplicate things. If you knew anything about setting up this kit, you would have soaked the coir block.
You see, I'm well ahead of you, babe.
I'm
well ahead of you.
Because now Jeff's life is ruined.
Just going out of shot.
Jeff, you should have set up the coir block hours ago. Got the kit right, opened it up, torn this just open like this, put it in a tub truck, soaked it and left it. And the best thing to do is get warm water, because that makes it go quicker. Of course, Richard hasn't done that, has he?
But Jeff,
oh no!
here's one I prepared earlier.
It's Blue Peter!
It is Blue Peter.
So this
That.
has turned into that.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Where's the paper?
Well, the paper will go into the wormery later on. Shredded paper is really important to put in a wormery. Shredded paper or something similar, either shredded paper or scrunched up cardboard. I mean, we always recommend that you put in at least 25% shredded paper or scrunched up cardboard, like egg cartons or toilet roll holders or something like that.
Isn't it good how we followed the instructions?
Yeah.
Jeff, don't worry about the instructions. It doesn't matter. Just get on like this. It's all fine.
Can
I do the legs?
I think there tends to be instructions in the kit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a piece of cake to put together, really.
If it wasn't, I could do it.
Well, you're quite practical, aren't you, anyway?
Absolutely. Country rough.
Yeah. Country rough. Country boy, country bred. Thick in the arm, thick in the head.
Right, one washer.
One washer.
Right. Like this.
Yep.
In we go.
Yeah, fantastic. Excellent. Heather, we need to put your frisbee back in.
Well, we could have it that way.
Yep.
Or we could have it that way.
Right.
I suggest you have it this way up so you can read all about the kit forever.
Okay. Good idea.
So pop it in here.
Yep.
Okay, so we've sealed the bottom where the holes are.
Okay.
And that means that the worms won't just go out into the bottom, and nor will the coir.
Okay.
But it'll decompose.
How long will it take to disappear, that?
No idea.
A couple of weeks, probably,
I
something
reckon.
like that.
Yeah. Not long.
All right, brilliant. So then we put in our bedding. So our coir, our previously soaked coir.
Okay.
Put that in there, like so.
Oh, great.
Lovely stuff.
Worms?
So it's kind of wet. Worms, yep.
Right. Can I?
Go for it.
Add the worms.
Go for it. There you go. Lots of lovely worms. After worms have been in there for a week or so, they've settled in, then you can start adding a little bit of kitchen waste and see, you know, watch them, watch their movements, see how they're getting in amongst it.
Jeff, this is not a waste disposal machine. You can't just stick your stuff in and expect things to happen. This is a process. We have to wait.
We do. I think some people think a wormery is like a combustion engine. You switch it on and woof, you know, a waste disposal unit, nothing, suddenly everything's gone. But it's like anything, you know, it's a natural process.
So we're going to leave this for a few hours for the worms to establish their burrows, go away from the light, and that means that they'll be ready to start eating the waste.
Right.
Go.
Okay.
Hours have gone by.
Right.
Pretend they have.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
The worms are certainly gone, haven't
Actually, they have gone because we've been so long making the video. Okay, sprinkle on the waste.
Okay.
Any kitchen waste you've got.
So this is what you eat, is it, Hev?
Yep.
So what have we got here? We've got a little bit of cucumber.
Yeah.
Bit of purple sprouting.
Banana.
Oh, that's a shame. That's nice, that.
Flapjack.
Flapjack. Yeah, bit of homemade flapjack.
Yes, absolutely.
That's such a liar. Banana skins. So all
Anyway,
sorts of
moving
goodies.
on,
Okay.
we'll put the moisture mat on
Righto.
because worms do it in the dark.
Okay.
Jeff, worms do it in the dark.
It's very important, isn't it? What other purpose does that serve?
Well, it will decompose
Yep.
and it will encourage the worms to surface and keep the whole thing moving.
Right, right. Excellent.
Lid?
Yep.
Happy?
I'm completely ecstatic. So there you go. So is that it? And what happens to the other trays then? The other two tiers that we've got?
Richard, that's another show.
Oh, okay. Bye.
Bye.